Shabbat Shalom. Bardaku et Yahweh. Bardaku et Yahweh Hamevara. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech ha'alam. Asher bekar benu makol hamayim wenantan lanu ha-torah. Baruch atah Yahweh notan ha-torah. That is to say, blessed be Yahweh. Blessed be Yahweh the Blessed One. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who selected us from all the peoples and gave us your Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah, to our King, to our deliverer, to our Savior, to our healer, our provider, to our sustainer, and to our Elohim. Do we come to you today, thanking you, Master, for all things. Thanking you, Master, for this day that you have made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Thanking you, O Master, that you brought us out of idolatry and that showed us your true Shabbat. And we meet today because you said in your word that it is a mitzvot that we shall meet on this day. For you made the world in 6 days and rested on this day, and we shall also rest. And we shall have a holy convocation. And we're here today, Master, to honor your set-apart day. We thank you, Master, for all things, life, health, and strength, food, clothing, and shelter, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We thank you, Master, that you have clothed us in our right mind and brought us out of idolatry, and that you have given us strength in our body and our limbs to come out today on this day. We thank you for the sunshine, Master. We thank you for the joy, the peace, the love that you give us. We thank you, O King, that you have sustained us all week and you have kept us safe. You have covered us with your wing. Oh, Master, we ask that you would keep us in the palm of your hand, Master, before our strength is in you. O King, we ask that you would look upon us today, Master, with a pitiful eye, Master, and that you would forgive us of our sins, and that you would cleanse us of unrighteousness, and that you would hear our prayer today, and that the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart would be acceptable in thy sight. Oh, Master, we give thanks to you today, and we bless you today with song. We bless you with our clapping. We bless you with lifted hearts. For we serve you with joy today, O King. For we meet not only out of obedience, not of fear, but we meet today out of love. Oh, Master, we ask that you would continue to bless us and keep us. We thank you that you kept our children all week long as they traverse throughout this world. And you brought them home safely to us all every evening. Master, continue to look upon us, Master, because we are your people, Israel. And we ask that you would continue to go with us until we meet in this place again. This is our prayer.
truly amazing, full of wonder and surprise. You're the life that breathes through me. With you I shall abide. You are truly amazing, full of wonder and surprise. You're the life that breathes through me. With you I shall abide. You're the sun that shines on me. You're my shelter from the rain. You're the breath I breathe, the song I sing. With you I shall abide. You're the sun that shines on me. You're my shelter from the rain. You're the creator of all living things. I will proclaim your name. You are truly amazing, full of wonder and surprise. You're the life that breathes through me. With you I shall abide. You're the sun that shines on me. You're my shelter through the rain. You're the breath I breathe, the song I sing. With you I shall abide. Breathe on me. Breathe on me. Yeah. I bow before you. I worship and adore you. Breathe on me. Breathe on me. Breathe on me. Yeah. I bow to worship you. I worship and adore you. Breathe on me. on me. Breathe on me. You say breathe on me. I say breathe on me. Hey, Yahweh, breathe on me. Hey. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. You are truly amazing, full of wonder and surprise. You're the life that breathes through me. With you I shall abide. I'm gonna do Shawn on you. See, Shawn get you all fired up, but I'm gonna get you fired before Shawn get up here. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Wait a minute. Will somebody say one more again? Now listen. We're going to try that one more time. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. This is the day Yahweh has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. How many are glad this morning? Come on, how many are glad this morning? I want to do something very quickly here. It's been on my mind. I woke up this morning, I thought about something. I want to give a shout out to our media team. Yes. I just do. I feel good about it. I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? They do an awesome job on the cameras. Sister Abigail, that's Lady Abigail. Master Trey. And I'll call him King, and that's Anthony over there. And we got Jean Amir back there on the slides, and we got I know his name starts with an M. What is his name? Makai. I've known that kid for about 7 years. Still don't know his name. We got Makai on the board. And to put all this together, we got this beautiful young man named Johan. And who gives all these lyrics on these screens and keeps up with Shawn and our rabbi. Sister Teresa, I don't know how you do it, but you are a magician on these screens. I just want to give a shout out to you, say how much I appreciate you, how much I adore every last one of you. You are the media team. You make this thing work. I don't know if you guys watch after we're off service. I go and I kind of look at what's going on. I'm going to tell you something. Their production is off the chain. I mean, going from screen to screen and panning in and out and, making a brother look, kind of cool. And they do a good job. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your time and for your service and for your dedication to this ministry, because we couldn't do it without you. So bravo to you, bravo to you. And in the chat room, somebody's got a birthday. All up in the chat room. As Shawn said, they were our first half in Atlanta. Sister Kenya, happy birthday to you, darling. Happy birthday to you, Sister Kenya. I miss you. I miss that beautiful smile, and I miss your worship. Because I know one thing about you. You love to worship. And I miss you. So on that, come on, y'all. We come into your presence with thanksgiving. lift up holy hands in your presence. Here we go. We bow before your throne in praise. It's in the atmosphere worship and the presence of your name. We sing Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. There is joy in your name, Yahweh. There is victory in your name, Yahweh. Everything that you are, everything that you are, yeah, everything that you are, it's in your name. It's in your name. Hey, it's in your name. It's in your name. Hey, here we go. It's in your name, Yahweh. Yahweh is in your name. Yahweh. Yahweh is in your name. Yahweh. Yahweh is in your name. Yahweh. Yahweh. Everything that you are, everything that you are, yeah, everything that you are. That's right, that's right. It is in your name, that mighty name of Yah. Blessed be that mighty name. I was going to do another song, but I feel this one. What is in your name? What am I to call you? You hold heaven and earth in your hands. You are whom I adore. Now I bow before you, lifting holy hands, giving honor and glory to your names. You deserve so much more, 'cause you are Elohim, you are my Yahweh, you are the great I am, you are, you are, you are, you are. What is in your name? What am I to call you? You hold heaven and earth in your hands. You are whom I adore. Now I bow before you, lifting holy honor and glory to your name. You deserve so much more. You are Elohim. You are my Yahweh. You are the great I am. You are. You are. You are. You are Elohim. You are my Yahweh. You are the great I am. You are. 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 I give you total praise, giving all of myself to you. I come clean, I come bold to your throne, and I call out your name, 'cause you are Elohim. You are my Yahweh. You are the great I am. You are. You are. You are. You are Elohim. You are my Yahweh. You are the great I am. You are. 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 Hey! I give you total praise, giving all of myself to you. I come clean, I come bold to your throne, and I call out your name, 'cause you are Elohim. You are my Yahweh. You are the great I am. You are. 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 You are.
Oh, greetings to everyone once again on this great day, which is a Sabbath, and to our great, great Elohim, Yahweh. We are entering into one of our high holy days. This Friday coming will be Passover, Pesach, Passover unto the Most High El. And Ambassador Appleton is going to touch on some things concerning Passover with you today. But just to give you kind of a heads up, we will be having congregational Passover this year once again. We'll be in this house, and we'll have Passover as Scripture has ordained us to do. I don't know how we got off, but we did. And it's always good to get back on track. So we will be holding our Passover service here at First Tabernacle Fellowship next Friday evening. And for those of you that are on the stream, I've heard from some of you, and you're desiring for us to stream that service for you because you don't have a community to gather with and you just like to be a participant in it. So we're going to work on trying to get that service also streamed to you while we're going through the liturgy and celebrating what the Most High has given to us to celebrate for Passover. Our Elohim is great. Come on, you all. He's great. He's great. And we can't help it if the religious world does not understand us. That's not our problem. We walk in the teachings of the Most High El, and we subscribe to Him and Him only. There is no power. The word God has no connection to the Most High, and the Hebrew word El, they think means God. It does not mean God. It means power. El means power. So there is no power greater than our Yahweh. He is the power. He is the source. And we have been commanded not to worship any other power or so-called power other than Him. We're not European. We're Hebraic. We're Hebrews. And we worship the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, who are also Hebrews. And that's going to be our goal. That's going to be our position until we meet in the land in which everybody will then worship our power. And He said, in that day, my name will be one. The language will be one. And there not going to be no European worshipers in the land with us. So we're not going to have this problem. Well, I think the ambassador, he's over there like a bull in a pen, scraping his feet on the ground and rocking, trying to get out the gate. So I'm gonna turn him loose. Here he comes. Here he comes. Ambassador Shawn Appleton.
Sir, I want to do something. Wait, come on, before you go. We got to make a correction. Pesach is not next week.
It's not next week?
No. It's on the 29th.
The 29th is...
We're on the 16th right now.
Oh, this is the 16th. I'm
Yes.
a week early.
You're a little bit too
Okay,
early.
I got you. I'm sorry.
But that's how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be ready.
My bad. So it's the 29th.
Yes.
See, I'm a whole week early. But what's the word I'm looking for? Count that to my age.
Amen. It is good to be here. One more again. Here with the Most High's people. First and foremost, I have to acknowledge the Most High, the beneficent, the all-knowing, the omnipresent, the one who has delivered our people, who has sustained Hebrew Israel for so many years in our disobedience. He has allowed us grace in this time. We call upon Vayikra, chapter number 23, which outlines today as a holy convocation, and we participate in that mitzvah and fulfilling it. As the goat, I like to say, Moshe indicated to his people, he was leadering over as he was getting direction from the Most High. So, to the Most High, Eya Asher Eya, I thank you for allowing me to be here this morning. Now, to Ambassador Kevin R. Holman, our worship leader, Shabbat Shalom to you, sir. To the Ambassador Jeffrey George Greg, how many of them can I do with the letter G? Ambassador Bickham, Shabbat Shalom to you, sir. To Ambassador Johan Tate, Shabbat Shalom to you. To the Honorable Robert B. Holman Jr., the rabbi of this house, Shabbat Shalom to you. On the 30th, we're going to add one more person to that group. One more person to that group. I ain't looking over there. To our introductions. For all of you that are joining us by way of the stream, to our dear sister who is faithful, being on our streams, being live in that chat room. I don't know why she isn't a moderator. Y'all should make her a moderator in that chat room. While she was here, she exuded so much excitement and fervor for trying to get an understanding of the Most High's text. Unadulterated, uncut, raw, and organic. She has even moved across the country, upon which she continues to tune in faithfully. So, Kenya, Shabbat Shalom to you, my dear sister, and happy birthday. That's all right. Go on, give her a round of applause. Now we've come to the folks that we can't forget about. Folk here in this room. Now, the ambassador already got your vocal cords warmed up already. So with that, I'm not going to accept anything other than your excellence, because we are saying this because we're acknowledging Eye Ashe Eye. Okay? So y'all ready to rumble? Y'all ready to go to the stratosphere? Shabbat Shalom! All right. Shabbat Shalom. Whew. I have the pleasure of being able to stand before you today to talk about something that is germane to this particular day. Today is a high set-apart day. Can anybody tell me why that is? Why is today a high set-apart day? Because it's the new year. Okay. What else? It's the Sabbath. What else is today? The new season begins in the month of Aviv. We're commanded to observe it, which we are going to go over. Anything else? You're missing one. You said it was a Shabbat. You said it was the beginning of the new year, right? So we're going to have some fireworks on this stage today, okay? What else? You just said it. You said what? You forgot already. The new season begins. And you actually gave me my last one. It's the beginning of the new month. It is a Rosh Chodesh. Okay? So this is a super Shabbat today. And you are all here because our calendar tells us to do so. I want to go through this really quick because I want to make sure everybody understands how we derive at today being the beginning of the year. Okay? I think it's important for us to, even before we get into the issue of even trying to pinpoint where Pesach and Matzah are, you first have to know where to count from. I am not going to say too much other than what you already know, but there is a cool website. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's called HebrewCalendar.com. I don't know if you've heard of it. Let's go there for a second. Okay. Under HebrewCalendar.com, there is a tab that says About the Calendar, where you can learn different things about the calendar itself. In here, I give you my formula on how I actually derive this calendar. All right? We got to be able to know where the beginning of the year is and where to start. When you scour the Masoretic text, there isn't really anything in there. There's things that allude to it if you want to say, okay, a harvest season, and when is that particular time during the year? You can do those types of analysis on the text, in the Masoretic text. But there really isn't anything definitive that says the beginning of the year is on this day. That's when you start your year. It's nothing truly definitive. You have to go outside of the Masoretic text. And when I say, let me be careful when I say that, because it's all Masoretic text. You have to go outside of the canonized Masoretic text in the Bible to find the rest of the information that you need in order to calculate this. You're going to have to go to books like the book of Enoch. Everybody heard of the book of Enoch? You go to the book of Jubilees. We'll have information in there as well about your calendar. Now, some people may have an issue by saying, why are you jumping outside of the canonized, what we call Torah, to go find this information? What gives you that kind of license or agency to do so? The agency comes from your ancestors. Yehoshua quotes the book of Yasher. Shemuel, upon which we're going to study today in the second chapter, I believe. I think it's in the first chapter of Shemuel. No, first chapter of Shemuel. Quotes, 2 Shemuel, first chapter, quotes the book of Yasher. On HebrewCalendar.com, I give you references everywhere in the Masoretic text and are from Bereshit all the way to Chronicles that investigates or at least points to books outside that they refer to. Okay? They're all there. And again, two of them are from, at least two books that we need to consult is the book of Enoch and the book of Jubilees. Why is the book of Enoch one of the books we need to consult? Thank you. Thank you. The book of Enoch breaks down the mitzvot on how the luminaries transverse through the sky. That is our ancestor that was called up by the angel, and the angel showed Enoch all of the construction, all of the mitzvot of the luminaries in the sky, how the stars moved, how the moon moved, how the sun moved. Okay? If you go to the book of Enoch, chapter number 72, Enoch starts outlining all of the mitzvot for the luminaries in the sky. as you get going through here, he starts telling you how many days are in each individual month. 30, 30, 31. That's your first season. 30, 30, 31. Second season. 30, 30, 31. Third season. Each one of your seasons has 13 weeks in it, in a 52-year calendar. 52-year, excuse me, I said a calendar, 52-week year. Thank you. The last is 30, 30, 31. It's the same pattern, and it repeats itself. The last verse in the book of Enoch in chapter number 72, verse 32 says, on that day the night decreases and amounts to 9 parts, and the day to 9 parts. Listen to this. And the night is equal to the day. And the year is exactly as its days, 364. You cannot use a lunar calendar to calculate the year because the lunar calendar is only 354 days. You'll come up 10 days too short using the sliver in the sky. Okay? Now, how do we know when there's equal light and equal night? Well, you can go into Google, and Google will tell you that. Google will tell you that as of today, or at least last night, we were very close, within minutes of having equal night and equal daytime. Okay? So today, if that's the end of the year, then today is the beginning of the year, which makes it very convenient because it's a Shabbat, it's a Rosh Chodesh, your new season begins and you're already here. You had to do nothing extra. It fell on a Shabbat. So, if today, I'm going to show you how, if you haven't got this Hebrew calendar, I'm going to show you how to read it real quick. So, today is the 16th of March. On the first month, on the first day. Everybody see that? I know it's real hard to read up here, but in the right-hand corner, I've put the number of the month. And in the middle is the Hebrew day. So, when it tells us, which we're getting ready to read, that on the 14th day of the first month is Pesach, between evening and complete darkness, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's the Friday the 29th in the evening. The Feast of Matzah starts on the 15th because it says on the 15th day on the first month. You will have the Feast of Matzah for 7 days straight. It will end on Friday, which will be April the 5th. Okay? That's going to be a holy convocation day. Feast of Matzah at the beginning is going to be a holy convocation day. Okay? So I just wanted to explain how we get to where we are. Just not willy-nilly using things that are not, we can't verify. We've used the text from our ancestors, disseminated it, superimposed it on the calendar so we can follow it. All right? That was, now, moving on into that, I got to do something with Pesach because Pesach's coming up. So I gave you some homework. Did you guys do your homework? I heard one yes. Woo! If I was a professor, all of y'all be coming to the extra hour class. Did you do your homework? I told you to read 2 particular chapters. Which ones were they? Vayikra, chapter number what? 23, and what's the other one? Devarim 16. Very good. Now, we're going to go roll this clock all the way back. So, Sister Harless, you're going to need to follow me, which I know you will. Let's go back and let's go to text. Actually, let's go to Shemot chapter number 12. We're going to start there first. And trying to understand this issue of Pesach. I need to set up something for you so you can understand what's happening in the Masoretic text. We're going to go slow. Okay? You have two major things that are happening, and there's a third that we're going to have to deal with. The first is in Shemot, chapter number 12. We have the account of what happened in Mitzrayim when the Most High went through Mitzrayim and killed all the firstborn. Everybody familiar with that account? All right? The Most High went through. They marked their doorposts with blood, with the hyssop, and the death Malach passed over those houses where the Hebrew people were staying in Goshen. Okay? Now, that is the account of what happened. We're going to read that. The second issue that you need to be aware of is once our ancestors came out of Mitzrayim and were transversing through the desert, Moshe gives them the mitzvot on how to carry out Pesach in the land. Let's be abundantly clear about one thing. There is no liturgy, there is no direction on how to observe Pesach outside of the land, in exile. The only two things that we're going to talk about in text that are here is the account and what you need to do it when you're in the land. Since we're not in the land, anything that we do germane to Pesach is practice. Okay? There's certain things that have to be in place in order for Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, all of them are practice while we're outside of the land. We clear? Good, very good. Let's read what our ancestors went through. Because I'm going to tell you what, I'm a wag. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I can't keep these Christians away from me. You are not going to get this type of analysis on a certain particular day when they're trying to resurrect somebody out the ground that particular day. You rarely will hear somebody go all the way back. Okay, I'm already off and running. Let's go, 12, because I'm going to have to put him up on the stake after I'm done with this, because you can't disassociate when people are jacking it up saying that Pesach is associated, or Passover is associated with Easter. We got to deal with that before we get out of here. Okay, verse 12. Eye asher eye spoke to Moshe and Aharon in the land of Mizraim and said, you are to begin your calendar year with this month. It will be the first month of the year for you. Speak to all the assembly of Israel and say, on the 10th day of the month, each man is to take a lamb or kid for his family, one per household, except that if the household is too small for a lamb or a kid, then he and his next door neighbor should share one, dividing it in proportion to the number of people eating it. Your animal must be without defect. I almost want to bring you up here on stage so you can talk about that. He can't be your Passover lamb because he was beat to a pulp. That's a defect. Okay, all right. Anyway. And his bones, beyond recognition. I don't know if you, let me keep going. Oh, I'm revved up because I can't wait to get to that portion of this. You are to keep it until the fourth, I skipped over it. Except that if the household is too small for a whole lamb or kid, then he and his next door neighbor should share one, dividing it in proportion to the number of people eating it. Your animal must be without defect, a male in its first year. He was 33 years old. And you may choose it from either the sheep or the goats. You are to keep it until when? The 14th day of the month. And then the entire, let's slow down. The entire community of Israel will slaughter it at dusk. That's evening. They are to take some of the blood and smear it on the two sides and top of the door frame at the entrance of the house in which they are to eat it. That night, they are to eat the meat roasted in fire. They are to eat it with matzah and meor. Don't eat it raw or boiled, but roasted in fire with its head, the lower parts of its legs, and its inner organs. Let nothing of it remain till morning. If any of it does remain, burn it up completely. And then he continues to go on how you should eat it. You should eat it quickly. And this is going to be the Passover. So let's go with verse 11. It says, here is how you are to eat it. With your belt fastened, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you are to eat it hurriedly, as Eye Asher Eyes Pesach, or Passover. For that night I will pass through the land of Mitzrayim and kill all of the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, both men and animals, and I will execute judgment against the gods of Mitzrayim. I am signed, Yahweh, Eye Asher Eye. Would have been nice for you to say, this is by Jesus the Christ. You could have inserted yourself there too. Plenty of opportunities since you are God incarnate in the flesh. The blood will serve you as a sign, marking your houses where you are. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. When I strike the land of Mitzrayim, the death blow will not strike you. Now, we've just recounted or just went over our history of our ancestors at that time when they were going through Passover. This is the account, all right? Now we're going to jump over into Vayikra chapter number 23. This is Moshe's dissertation. The Most High is telling Moshe to tell the children of Israel, or our ancestors, that, hey, listen, the empire of Israel, this is what you're going to do when you get into the land. That is what Vayikra 23 and Devarim 16 accomplished. The mitzvot for getting into the land. Now let's break this down a little bit further. Vayikra chapter number 23 is only going to tell you when Pesach is. Devarim chapter number 16 is going to tell you how to take care of it when you're in the land. Very good. So let's go get it. Vayikra chapter number 23, verse 1. We'll start right at the top. It says, Yahweh said to Jesus the Christ, huh? Oh, okay. All right. He says to whom? Moshe. Tell whom? The people of Israel, the designated times. Who? Yahweh, which you are to proclaim as set apart. Convocations are my designated times. Matter of fact, you know what? I want to do something. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. There was something important I missed. Sister Harless, let's go back to Shemot chapter number 12, and I want to go back to verse number 14. I missed something very important, and I thank the Most High for slowing me down and letting me see this before I moved any further. Let's read this. It says, this will be a day for you to remember and celebrate as a festival to Yahweh. From generation to generation, you are to celebrate it as a... So when does perpetual stop? Never. All right. Now we can go back over to Vayikra 23. So whomever y'all listening to that is telling y'all that y'all don't have to do these festivals or these mitzvot, that is not true. Tell them to go back and read the text on what the Most High said. Okay? You read it for yourself. Did you not? Okay, let's go back. Verse 3, it says, work is to be done on 6 days, but the seventh day is a Shabbat of complete rest, a set-apart convocation. That means that we have to convene. You don't do this alone if you can't help it. Okay? So there's some circumstances upon which people are in remote areas, they can't get to a group of people. All right? Or people may be having a medical situation where they can't get. But if you are able-bodied and can, I never said come to FTF.
No, I never said that. If you want to come and do a holy convocation with us, that's fine. But at least observe the mitzvot if you have the opportunity to convene with another group of people. Observe the mitzvot. Okay? Don't let situations, attitudes, or whatever get between you and making sure that you do the mitzvot. Because then what you just did was you just elevated that situation above the mitzvot and just made it less important. My feelings are more important than observing this mitzvot. So you don't have to be here. Just be somewhere. 5. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, between sundown and complete darkness. Does anybody not know what sundown is? When the sun in the western sky goes down and you don't see the sun anymore, that's when evening starts, even though you have light. You can still see light, but the sun is not visible. That's when evening starts, okay? So it says, between sundown and complete darkness. So Pesach happens in a specific set of hours. Comes Pesach for Yahweh. Now it goes into when the Feast of Matzah starts. It says, on the 15th day of the same month is the festival of Matzah. For 7 days you are to do what? Eat matzah. On the first day, you are to have a set apart convocation. Don't do any kind of ordinary work. Bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. There's that part right there. You can't do that. That's in the land. That's a specific thing that happens in the land. But we do things in order to make an analogy for it, okay, while we're in exile, okay? Bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh for 7 days. On the seventh day is a set-apart convocation. Do not do any kind of ordinary work. So are we clear on when this happens? Pesach happens when? On the 14th day of the first month, between evening and complete darkness. The Feast of Matzah happens on the 15th day of the month, and it will last for 7 days straight. There's a holy convocation on the first day. There's a holy convocation on the last. That means everybody needs to be present. Okay? That's what Vayikra chapter number 23 establishes, is when it happens. Now we need to go to Devarim chapter number 16 on how they were supposed to carry it out in the land. We're not talking about exile. We're talking about in the land. Okay? Devarim chapter number 16. Do I need to slow down? Are we? Come on. Why are we waiting? What's your question? No, you can. So the question is that when it says eat matzah for 7 days, is it strictly matzah? No. And we're going to see something about close to that when we get into Devarim 16, because Devarim 16 actually alludes that you're supposed to have meat with this matzah for 7 days. Okay? So it's long as you have matzah for 7 days straight. And then we're going to get into some issues here where you have to get the chametz out of your house. That's the reason, or out of your territory. That's why we eat matzah. And the reason why you're eating that matzah is because you're doing what? You're zakar. You're remembering what I just read in Shemot chapter number 12. Okay? Now, let's go. Devarim chapter number 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Aviv. This is the month of Aviv. We just started it today. And keep Pesach to Yahweh your El, for in the month of Aviv, Yahweh your El brought you out of Egypt at night. You are to sacrifice the Pesach offering. Now, here again, let's slow down. This is what we're supposed to do. All right? For those people that are in the land. You are to sacrifice the Pesach offering from the flock and herd to Yahweh your El in the place where Yahweh will choose to have his name. Where is that? Yerushalayim. Okay? You are not to eat any chametz. Chametz is anything that makes bread rise. It's like yeast. It says you are not to have any chametz with it. For 7 days you are to eat with it matzah, the bread of affliction, for you came out of the land of Mitzrayim in haste. What am I supposed to be eating with matzah? Meat. Okay? No leaven. Thus you will remember the day you left the land of Mitzrayim as long as you live. 4, no leaven is to be seen with you anywhere in your territory for 7 days, not just in your house, in your territory, because this is the territory of Eretz Israel. Okay? Nowhere in that territory can hamatz be. Again, these are mitzvot germane to the land. All right. None of the meat from your sacrifice on the first day in the evening is to remain all night until morning. You are not to sacrifice. Now listen to this. Listen to this. You are not to sacrifice the Pesach offering in just any of your towns that Yahweh your El is giving you. Is that clear? This is in a specific spot. This is not at your house. Okay? Who's giving this mitzvah? Moshe is giving the mitzvah. Where did he get the mitzvah from? Yahweh. Yahweh is giving Moshe this mitzvah. I'm going to just let this sit and rest for a minute. I'm just going to let y'all look at me for a second because I'm getting ready to go somewhere. I want that to sink in on who's talking. If y'all want to cut this up into TikTok, this is a good place for you to edit it, okay? I'm going to say to you one more time, I'm going to read this slow. It says, where am I at? Let's 5. Okay, let's go to 5. You may not sacrifice the Pesach, thank you. You may not sacrifice the Pesach offering in just any of the towns that Yahweh your El is giving you. 5, one more time, and I'm going to slow it way down. Just like Samuel L. Jackson said in The Hateful Eight. Let's slow this thing way down. You may not sacrifice the Pesach offering in just any of your towns that Yahweh your El is giving you. Remember that. But at the place where Yahweh your El will choose to have his name live, Yerushalayim, there is where you are to sacrifice the Pesach offering in the evening, when the sun sets at the time of the year that you came out of Mitzrayim. You are to roast it and eat it in the place that Yahweh, he keeps saying that, in the place where Yahweh has his name. It's almost the third time he says that, like he's trying to really drill something home, okay? It's back to 7. You are to roast it and eat it in the place Yahweh Eye Asher Eye your El will choose. In the morning, you will return and go to your tents. For 6 days you are to eat matzah, and on the 7th there is to be a festive assembly to Yahweh your El. Do not do any kind of work. Let me bring you up. Let me try to make an analogy here. If this was present day time, what would be happening in the land? Wherever you were in the land, you'd be flying into Yerushalayim. All the hotels would be booked up solid, okay? We'd go down to the local convention center in the evening, have this Pesach, remember, draw upon what happened in Shemot chapter 12, eat this lamb, and eat some matzah, okay? Then we make sure that all the meat that we brought is ate before, so you got to stay there until all that meat is gone. So you're going to make sure you bring enough, okay, or you're going to be engorged. You're going to go back to your hotel room in the morning. And then you're going to come back, or earlier, if you get done eating. Come back and start the Feast of Matzah, where all the men have to appear. Okay? That would be present day, what would happen today. Okay? That's in the land. So what do we do, Junior Rabbi, while we're outside of the land? I'm not going to take none of the head rabbis' thunder away because he's going to get up and tell you what we're going to do. But I wanted to lay the foundation on what's going on, because anything that we do outside of the land is just to mimic and pick something up that they would be doing inside the land. So that's why he said we are going to have to convene as a group of people for a holy convocation. Technically, the text, if we just to mimic it, all we needed to do is convene and meet at evening, between evening and complete darkness, have some lamb, have some matzah, fellowship, do Shemot chapter number 12, and take your butt home. Come back the next day for the Feast of Matzah. That's it. Okay? That's setting the foundation. Now, a lot of people get this day mixed up with Easter. Okay, well, no. We're talking about Pesach now. Now, do you realize that there's something that actually happens really strange this year? Thank you. Good Friday is the day that Pesach is on. Easter is the second day of the Feast of Matzah for us. Easter is on Sunday. So, I said to myself, let me equip the people with something about, because they like to be boisterous. Jesus is the reason for the season. They like to say that a lot. They'll come in there with all what would Jesus do? I love those. Into the workplace, they'll see all this stuff about Easter starting to go on. And then all the Christians, the loud ones, will start doing all this profession about Resurrection Sunday. Okay? But let's just see what happens when we go over to your text and we actually read it. Because when you get to your church on Sunday, they won't read this to you. Let's read it from a Hebrew perspective. Metayahu chapter number 26. Metayahu chapter number 26. Metayahu. Wait a minute. This is your Christ. I don't even have to get out of the first sentence before all you Hebrews saw what was in that first line. He came to fulfill the law, not to do away with it. So if your Jesus was alive today, guess where he'd be? He'd be in here with us, observing Pesach. When Yeshua had finished speaking, he said to his Talmudim, those are his groupies, as you know, I can't even get it out of my mouth. Pesach is 2 days away. And then we have the rest of this mess that jumps in here. And the Son of Man will be handed over to be nailed to the execution stake. Then it says the head Kohanim. Now we understand that there's Kohanim in the land, all right, wherever Yeshua is. And the elders of the people gathered at the palace of Caiaphas. The whom? The Kohen Gadol. Okay. The rest of this in dissertation below is how our ancestors got a little bit upset. You got this lady that goes in there and dumps all this oil on Yeshua's head, and we were saying, this is just a waste of money and time and all this. This is what's going to happen here. You're going to have this issue with this guy with Sada'at. But then you have to pick up, I'm going to go back and pick up at verse number 17. Okay, because you got all this dissertation about something else that happens in there. So we have this issue about, hey, the chapter begins, we got 2 days until Pesach. Now we begin the rest of that piece. What does he say? He says, on the first day for what? In your Bible, it might say unleavened bread, but your pastor will fail to tell you that is a mitzvah called the Feast of Matzah. The Talmudim came to Yeshua, so they knew the mitzvah. Where do you want us to prepare the Seder? Go into the city to so-and-so. Who is that? Go into the city to so-and-so. He replied, okay, y'all talking in code. Can y'all cue us in on the rest of us? We trying to learn. Who is so-and-so? So-and-so, he replied, and tell him that Rabbi says, my time is here, my Talmudim, and I are celebrating Pesach at your house. The Talmudim did as Yeshua directed them and prepared the Seder. Now, before I had y'all read something in verse 5 in chapter number 16 of Devarim where it says, where are you supposed to have it? You are God incarnate. You are Yahweh in the flesh. Why are you telling your Talmudim to go take this Pesach Seder and put it at somebody's house when you told us it shall be in a specific place where I put my name? Why? I'm missing something here. Let's go back and get it. Come on, let's go back to Devarim chapter number. But not just in any place. It says not in your towns or your homes. In the place. And matter of fact, if that was the case, we don't even, there you go. If that was the case, and you're celebrating Pesach, that is something that is done as a holy or set apart convocation with other people. Not just you and your homies. Okay? What you should have been doing is what we've established already, that there was a Kohanim and there was a Kohanim Hagadol. So you knew where your people were. You should have been celebrating Pesach with your people, not in some upper room. Okay? I'm only trying to establish here that even if you was to get that deep on one of them holy rollers out there, this is some just detail to say, just because you don't understand the mitzvot and the things that are here, your Christ, even if you even didn't get this deep, understand this, that if your Christ was here right now, he wouldn't be at that church. He'd be celebrating matzah that was in the text, Feast of Matzah and Pesach. Okay? All right? This is just poor teaching from Yahweh, I guess, if that is Yahweh, to a group of people. He's misdirecting them. Okay? Now that we're all friends, we all right? I don't know if I took too long. Is that okay? We good? Okay. You need to be equipped. Okay. The Most High, he's dealing with me right now. I wanted to save something for next week, but I think let me deal with it right now, okay? Okay. All right. The Most High gave me something this week. And I've been debating whether or not I was going to say something about it right now. And my spirit has been grieved all week. As I get into study and I find out what's going on here and we get back to really being organic, it really grieves me. And I need to have permission and agency and license from all of you right now to spiritualize something. Can I just have a moment to spiritualize something? I'm spiritualizing, okay? And this is the vision that I had in my head. I'll tell you about it. There was a movie that was released in 1978. It starred Lena Horne, Mabel King, Ted Ross. Anybody know what movie that is? Let me give you some more headliners. It starred the comedic genius of Richard Pryor. There you go, a man by the name of Nipsey Russell, not Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Russell. He was joined by the incomparable Michael Jackson. And who can forget, before there was a Beyonce, before there was a whoever, Diana Ross. And I said to myself, I said, you know what? These characters in this movie seem to personify where I'm seeing people in the world right now, and especially Hebrews, our people. Let's go through the characters. The Tin Man, what was his problem? He didn't have a heart. When you present this word to somebody, has no emotional resonance with them at all. It's a category of people. Who else did we have? We had Michael Jackson's character, which was the Scarecrow. He didn't have a brain. Anytime that he needed to have something and learn something, he had to pull it out and repeat it. He was a parrot from somebody else. When you present this word to somebody or these mitzvot to somebody, it doesn't even resonate with them. They don't have any understanding at all. Who else do we have? We have the Cowardly Lion. These are the folks that are loud as all get out about they Christ and whatever. But as soon as you bring the mitzvot to their front door, what do? They run and hide because they're cowards. Who else did we have? We had the Wizard. Whatever the flavor of the week was, I don't want to be seen green. Wouldn't be caught dead red. That type of thing. I'm looking at how our country is run. Y'all will believe anything that comes out of Washington, D.C., where all of the, gold roads lead. If they tell you that the border is the problem, oh my God, we got to do something about the border. Whatever they tell y'all, y'all do. Like the Wizard did. He said that old color is, that other color is old. The new color is gold. Right? So whatever the Wizard tells y'all, that's what y'all do. But I'm forgetting about this one person that I said is more like us than anybody else. Dorothy. Because what was Dorothy? All she wanted to do was go home. When I read this text, that's all I want to do. Why do I want to be here in westernized culture watching this place crash and burn when I could be with my people? Do you realize that this is a holy convocation where everybody is? We can't have experienced that. That's our curse that we have to live in our generation. All I wanted to do this whole week was, there's no place like home. No place like home. She knew that this wasn't her place. And so as I'm walking through this week and I'm doing the things and I'm in deep thought, I'm like, I live in the land of Oz. Because every single one of those characters are people that I run into. I share text with them, and then they're all boisterous about it, and they run away. Then what do? Okay, they're a coward. Nothing penetrates them for the Tin Man, and then they don't have any understanding. But what was Dorothy's job to them? She went back and told them, you don't need the Wizard, because everything you need was inside you already. You're living in Oz. The Most High dealt with me on that and changed my perspective. After my teacher this week told me, he said, you need to stop worrying so much. It's a beautiful thing when we get together and we talk about the Most High, because you don't know what you're going to say that's going to affect somebody in a certain way. Because what he had said to me on Wednesday resonated in my mind as I drove 2.5 hours to Willits and back. That's what I'm thinking about. I said, praise the mighty Yah for what he's doing. Oh. Whew. Y'all good? Y'all good? Okay, all right, we stratosphere. I told you this is the first of the year. We're going to have some fireworks today, okay? Let's move, if we can, right into our teaching. That was one of the longest monologues ever. That was my first teaching. Thank you. All right, let's see what we got. We will probably go through this in probably short order. As this is the beginning of the year, we are starting a new book in 2nd Shemuel. We are going to attempt to go through chapters number 1 and 2. Not with some haste, but we're going to actually draw out some mitzvot that are here, okay? Now, I'm giving y'all license and agency today to pull on my coattail today. Like, okay, come on, sit down. You've been up there too long, okay? So just, if I look off there and y'all see this, okay, I'll know. In Shemuel chapters number 1 and 2, this is what we're going to start, or at least talk about today. David is going to deal with Shaul's death. David is now coming back from rescuing his 2 wives and all of his countrymen's accoutrements that were taken by the Amalekites. And in that time, Shaul gets killed in the battle against the Philistines. David is now in Ziklag, the city of the kings. Chapter number 2, David is anointed king of Yehuda, and Melech Shaul's ruling successor is named. Anybody know who that might be? Okay, but if you don't, it's cool. It's by his son named Ishbosheth. David and Melech Shaul's commanders fight it out in chapter number 2. These are the chapters and verses I will be going to today, and let's go straight to the top and let's read. Shaul. It's one of the first times we actually see Melech not in front of his name lately. Melech Shaul had died, and David had been 2 days in Ziklag after returning from the slaughter of the Amalekites. Why is he slaughtering the Amalekites? Because they went in and they raided and burnt Ziklag to the ground. Okay, so he went back to get everything that the Amalekites had. And remember I said that cute little thing that's don't use taking back what the devil stole, that whole entire piece. On the third day, there came a man from Shaul's camp with his clothes torn and earth on his head. Okay. I'm going to say that slowly. I want you to get this. On the third day, there came a man from Shaul's camp with his clothes torn and earth on his head. Why would he do that? Anybody? He's mourning. He's mourning for Shaul, right? We got to go back, Sister Tari. I need to go back to 1 Shemuel chapter number 31. You need to have 31 under your belt in order to do chapters 1 and 2. Okay? You got to have 31 under your belt to do chapters 1 and 2 of 2 Shemuel. I'm going to go through this real quick. It says, now the Philistine pressed their attack against Israel. The men of Israel fled before the Philistine, leaving the dead on Mount Gilboa. The Philistine pursued and overtook Shaul and his sons, and the Philistines killed Yehohanan. That was David's best friend, Avinadab and Malchishua, the sons of Shaul. The fighting went hard against Shaul. Then the archers overtook and wounded him so that he was in agony. Is everybody clear what just happened? We're in a battle. The archers from the Philistine almost fatally wounded Shaul, but he was still alive. But his other sons are dead. Okay? Says 4. Shaul said to his armor bearer, who? His armor bearer that was with him. Draw your sword and run me through with it. Otherwise, these uncircumcised men will come, run me through, and make sport of me. So what is he asking him to do? He's asking him to kill him. Okay? But his armor bearer refused. He was too frightened. So Shaul took his sword and fell on it. Is anybody unclear about what just happened? So Shaul took his sword and fell on it. Great. Remember that, because you won't be able to do chapter number 31 without that. Remember that. When his armor bearer saw that Shaul was dead, what happened? He too fell on his own sword and died with him. Thus Shaul, his 3 sons, and his armor bearer, and all his men died that same day. Now, let me jump down to, let's just read it. It's only 11 verses. When the men of Israel who were on the other side of the valley and those that were on the other far side of the Jordan saw that the men of Israel had fled and Shaul and his sons were dead, they abandoned the cities and fled. Then the Philistine came and lived in them. The following day, when the Philistine came and did what? Stripped the dead. They found Shaul, his 3 sons, lying dead on Mount Gilboa. They cut off his head, stripped off his armor, and sent these all over the territory of the Philistine to carry the news to the temples of their idols and to the people. Then they put his armor in the temple of Ashtaroth and fastened his body to the wall of Bet-shan. When the people living in Yavesh Gilead, these are Benjaminites. How do I know that? I'm going to explain that to you in a second. And then you're going to wonder why are these Benjaminites doing this? Okay? It's going to be a very easy answer to that. It says, when the people of Yavesh Gilead heard what the Philistine had done to Shaul, all their warriors set out traveling all night. They took the body of Shaul and the bodies of his sons off the wall of Bet-shan and returned to Yavesh and burned them there. Then they took their bones, buried them under a tamarask tree in Yavesh, and fasted 7 days. When you're reading that, you should be asking yourself the question, why are the people of Yavesh Gilead doing this? Okay? And again, they're Benjaminites. So let's pick back up in chapter number 1 of 2 Shemuel. It says, back to the top. It says, Shaul had died. Is that true? Okay, how? Very good, Hebrews. And David had been 2 days in Ziklag after returning from the slaughter of the Amalekites. Why was he slaughtering the Amalekites? Because they burnt Ziklag to the ground. He went to go get back all of his stuff. On the 3rd day came a man from Shaul's camp with his clothes torn and earth on his head. Why did we say? Because he's mourning, or trying to appear to be mourning. He approached David, fell on the ground, and prostrated himself. David said to him, "Where are you coming from?" "I escaped from the camp of Israel," he replied. "Tell me, please, how did things go?" David doesn't know that Melech Shaul is dead. He asks. David asked, he says, the people have fled the battle, he answered, and many of them are wounded or dead. Shaul and Yehohanan, his son, are dead too. Come on, mitzvos, let's kick in here. David asked the young man who had told him this, "How do you know that Shaul and Yehohanan, his son, are dead?" This is a master statistician. You better watch how you talk to him. The young man who had told him said, "I happened to be on Mount Gilboa." Is that true? Where Melech Shaul died. He was on Mount Gilboa when he died. "When I saw Shaul leaning on his spear, the chariots and the cavalry were bearing down on him. He looked behind him, saw me, and called me. I answered, 'Here I am.' He said to me, 'Who are you?' And I answered, 'I am an Amalekite.' He said to me, 'I'm in agony, and I'm going to die, but I'm still alive. So please stand next to me and kill me.' So I stood next to him and killed him, because I was sure he was so badly wounded that he couldn't live. I took the crown that was on his head and the bracelet on his arms and have brought them here to my Lord." What is the problem here? He's lying. He's lying. David doesn't know that he's lying. But because of his lying tongue, he's going to violate a mitzvot. First of all, we got a mitzvot that's already in play already. When he says he's what? He's an Amalekite. That's right. What are we supposed to do with the Amalekites? Destroy them, blot them out. Okay, you got that in Shemot chapter number 17, verses 14 through 16. And also in Devarim, chapter number 25, 17 through 19, you will find the mitzvot on the Amalekites. Okay, because again, this was one of the things that got Melech Shaul killed because he didn't destroy the Amalekites, and there were some Amalekites that got away, and this is how you get to the book of Esther, because King Agag is an Amalekite. Okay, so his generations go on. All right. So he's lying. So in my mind's eye, this is me stepping out. I'm saying, okay, what in the world would motivate you to go and do this to David? And I'm thinking to myself, he can't be that bold. Maybe who is David with right now? He's with the Philistines in Ziklag. Okay, it's a part of a Philistine territory. In my mind's eye, I'm thinking, okay, maybe the Philistine, because they said the Philistine came in there and stripped Shaul of all that he had. That they gave this Amalekite, who is expendable, to go in there and talk to David and say, hey, we just got news that Shaul was dead, just to test David to see what he was going to do. Because what were they afraid of? David got sent back home because they said, hey, listen, David is the one that killed Goliath. David is a mighty warrior. Why would we want him fighting with us? If he turns on us, he would destroy us. So send him home. And then when he went back, he found that Ziklag got burned to the ground by the Amalekites. Okay? Tying all this together. Ooh, we're going to get real nerdy today. Let's go to verse 11. Then David took hold of his clothes and tore them, and likewise all the men were with him. They wailed and cried, and they fasted until evening for Shaul, for Yehohanan his son, for Asher's people, and for the house of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. David said to the young men who had told him, where are you from? He answered, I am the son of a resident foreigner, an Amalekite. Okay. David asked him, how is it that you weren't afraid to raise your hand to destroy Asher's anointed? Okay. You were in the camp. It says right there in verse 1, if you go all the way back up to the top, actually verse 2, it says, on the third day, there came a man from Shaul's camp. If you are so-called from Shaul's camp, you would know that there's some protocols that you don't do, and one of them is putting your hands on the king. You already know that you are, and then you incriminated yourself because I just gave you two chapters and verses that said you're supposed to destroy the Amalekites. So he just walked into a trap. David just set him up. And by his own mouth, he got himself killed. Let's see what happens, how David continues forward. I just want to establish something with you guys. Your people are strategic. They are not idiots. Don't let this pop culture prove to you that you melanated people are not smart, that you're below the line. You come from ancestry that y'all already know. David said to the young man, let's go back up. No, as a matter of fact, let's go to 14. He says, David asked him, how is it that you weren't afraid to raise your hand to destroy Asher's anointed? David called one of his young men and said, go over and kill him. The man struck him down and he died. David said to him, your blood is on your head. Your own mouth convicted you when you said, I've killed Asher's anointed. Then David pronounced a lament over Shaul and over Yehohanan his son, in order to teach the people of Yehudah not to underestimate archery. The lament is been written down in the book of Yasher. It's another one of those places where we have license to go outside of here and read. So, let's read what David says after this, because this may not be obvious, and this is completely technical and very nerdy. But let's just read what David says. Let's go back here. 17, it says, David pronounced the lament over Shaul and over Yehohanan his son. in order to teach the people of Yehuda archery. The lament has been written down in the book of Yasher. Your glory, Israel, lies dead on high places. How the heroes have fallen. Don't speak of it in Gat. Don't proclaim it in the streets of Ashkelon. Then the daughters of the Philistine won't rejoice. The daughters of the uncircumcised won't gloat. Mountains of Gilboa, may there be on you no dew, no rain, no fields with good crops, because there the shields of the heroes were dishonored. The shield of Shaul was no longer rubbed with oil. From the blood of the dead, from the flesh of the heroes, the bow of Yehohanan did not retreat, or the sword of Shaul return unsatisfied. Shaul and Yehohanan loved and graciously, while alive, were not separated even in death. They were swifter than eagles, stronger than lions. David is talking about his enemy. These words of adoration and reflection and respect for the office of Melech over the house of Israel. Daughters of Israel, weep over Shaul. He clothed you luxuriously in scarlet and put gold on your clothing. How the heroes have fallen in the heat of battle. Yehohanan killed on your high places. I grieve for you, my brother Yehohanan. You meant so much to me. Your love for me was deeper than the love of women. How the heroes have fallen and the weapons of war perished. Now, I read that and I went all the way back up. Let's go back up to verse 17. And I started to hunt that down in the book of Yasher. You see how that reads? It says, then David pronounced a lament over Shaul and Yehohanan his son in order to teach the people of Yehuda not to underestimate archery. The lament has been written down in the book of Yasher. And then you have this dissertation that's here. I scoured the book of Yasher, and that's not even in the book of Yasher. And there's a reason why it's not in the book of Yasher. Okay? We first have to understand something about the book of Yasher. The book of Yasher has been written before David's time. So he's referring to it. What he's referring to here is there is a lament in the book of Yasher pertaining to archery towards Yehuda. That is the lament that he's talking about. So you have to open up the book of Yasher, find the lament of Yaakov, which is a lament that's there, and he talks about this. So David is quoting something out of the book of Yasher. That's one idea, finished. Then he starts his lament over Shaul. So this lament that you see here, don't associate this lament that he's saying over Shaul and Yehohanan as being in the book of Yasher. It's not there. It's a separate lament. The lament that's in the book of Yasher is the one that comes from Yasher chapter 56, verse 9, where it says, only teach the sons the use of the bow and all the weapons of war. He's talking about Yehuda, in order that they may fight the battles of their brothers who will rule over their enemies. That is the lament. And Yaakov is making that lament about Yehuda. Okay? I just want to make that distinction there because I got caught up here saying, okay, I'm digging through and I'm trying to do my study, and why can't I find this lament that David's talking about? Because it's something separate. Okay? That makes sense? Okay? When you read verse 17 and 18, that is a lament that's talking about something that's in the book of Yasher. You got to go into Yasher and find all the laments and then figure out what he's talking about. And your tie to it is when he says Yehuda's archery. You're looking for a lament that has Yehuda's archery in it. And that's where it shows up. It's in 56 and 9 in Yasher. This right here, your glory of Israel lies dead, that is David's lament in that particular time when Melech Shaul just died. Makes sense? Okay. All right. We're going to tear it apart. Let's tear it apart. 2. This should go pretty quick. After this, David consulted Eya Asher Eya. He asked, should I go up to any of the cities of Yehuda? Eya Asher Eya said to him, go up. David asked, where should I go? He said, to Hebron. Hebron is a city of refuge that is controlled by our Levitical brothers or the Levites. So David went up there with his 2 wives, Anochiam from Israel and Abigail, the widow of Nabal from Carmel. Now, this is nerdy. Why does the text always keep saying Abigail from Carmel? Why does it keep saying that over and over and over again? We know. David in 2nd Chronicles, you'll find out, has a sister named Abigail. So we need to make a distinction on which Abigail this is. Okay? Not this was some incestuous thing that he married his sister. So that's why it's very distinct by saying Abigail from Carmel, the widow of Nabal. Okay? Because one could assume, oh, he's marrying his sister, because his sister's name is Abigail. Or Abigail. Okay? 4. Whew. Then the men of Yehuda came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Yehuda. They informed David that the men of they informed David that the men of were on the ones who had buried Shaul, were the ones who had buried Shaul. So David sent messengers to the men of Yavesh Gilead with this message. I'm going to look at you, Trey. Why is this Yavesh Gilead? I went back and I said something about Yavesh Gilead. When Melech Shaul was killed, it was the people of Yavesh Gilead that came in there and took his body, burned it, and brought it back to Yavesh. They are Benjaminites. How do I know that they're Benjaminites? Do you know anything about Yavesh Gilead? I'm putting you on the spot. Okay. So, Yavesh Gilead shows up. That's a good point. They are. Yavesh Gilead shows up to deal with Melech Shaul's body. And there's a reason for it. They're Benjaminites. And why is that? Shaul's a Benjaminite. That's one of the reasons why we know he's going to fail as a leader, because the scepter shall not pass from the house of Yehuda. He's a Benjaminite, okay? But the people of Yavesh Gilead come up. And there's a reason why. Do you remember at the end of Shoftim, there was this particular Levite? This particular Levite had a concubine. And this concubine and this Levite went to this particular city, and the people of Benjamin came out and were beating on the door. They said, we want man cakes. Give us those man cakes in that house. He said, no. But here's my concubine. Take her. They proceeded to rape her all night long until she was dead. Now, there's a big war that goes on. A civil war that starts between the Benjaminites and the rest of Israel, to the point that only after Israel gets done with these Benjamites for doing this egregious act, there's only 600 of them left. Right? So they made an oath. They said, okay, we're still not done with Benjamin. We're going to make an oath at Mitzpah. And this oath is going to be that none of our sons are going to marry any of the daughters, or any of our daughters are going to marry any of the sons of Benjamin, of those 600 men that are left. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to end their bloodline. The Israelite elders got together. They started thinking about this. They said, we shouldn't be ending a line of Yaakov. This is not right. We shouldn't do this. So they changed their mind. So they said, everybody that came up to Mizpah and made this oath, they said they weren't going to have their daughters go to any of the people of the Benjaminites who didn't show up. The people of Yavesh Gilead didn't show up. So that oath wasn't with them. So you've got Benjaminite men, and the people of Yavesh Gilead didn't come up. So what Israel said was, okay, since people of Yavesh Gilead didn't come up, we're going to kill them, because that was part of the oath. If you didn't come up to Mizpah and make this oath that said you weren't going to have your daughters get with any of the Benjaminites, then we're going to kill you if you didn't come up. And the people of Yavesh Gilead didn't come up. So therefore, they went in there and they slaughtered all the people of Yavesh Gilead. This is counterintuitive. The only people that were left after the slaughter were virgins. So what did they do? There were only 400 virgins that were left. They gave those 400 virgins to the Benjaminites. So now the Yavesh Gilead people are Benjaminites. Okay? The rest of the 200 that were there, they went because they were out in Shiloh. They were doing their twerk dances at night. And they said, when they come out and do their twerking, go ahead and just grab your wife. For the rest of you 200 that don't have wives. Okay? Remember that's the whole entire story in Shoftim. Okay? That's how we get to Yavesh Gilead, because that's his kinsman. So now we understand why the people of Yavesh Gilead go deal with their brother, because it's a family issue. Okay? 8. Avner, the son of Ner, commander of Shaul's army, had taken Ishbosheth, the son of Shaul, and brought him over to Machanaim and made him king over Gilead and Ashur, Israel, Ephraim, Benjamin, and all Israel. So we have a new king now. This is a violation of a mitzvah. Devarim chapter number 17, 14 through 20 talks about the mitzvot of the king and what should happen. In there's something specific that says, who is supposed to pick the king? Yeah. It says, when you get in the land and you want to be like everybody else and you want a king, ask me for one and I'll give you one. This is what they did. Okay, now that Shaul's dead, let's put Ishbosheth into the place. They didn't even consult the Most High on this. So we are out of alignment with these mitzvot already. Okay, even in the instantiation of his son as his heir to the throne. 10. Ishbosheth, the son of Shaul, was 40 years old, and when he began to rule over Israel, and he ruled 2 years. But the house of Yehudah followed David. David was the king of Hebron over the house of Yehudah 7 years and 6 months. Avner, the son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth, the son of Shaul, went out from Mechim to the Givon, and while Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and David's servants also went out, and they met together at the pool of Givon. So this is what's happening here. There's 2 generals, Avner and Joab. Joab is the general for David. Avner is the general for Shaul. And they are going to meet and discuss some things that we will talk about next week when I get back up here. Hebrews. I hope you have found something today that will help you and aid you in your walk with the Most High. Eye Asher Eye. Okay? Today is don't leave too quick because your head teacher needs to come up on how we're going to do the protocol for Pesach here. But, like I said, today is a set-apart day. It's a super Shabbat. One of the things that we have to do is be festive, happy. We're observing the mitzvot. We are not downtrodden. We're here, and the Most High has allowed us to be here one more year, one more gin, to be able to observe this time. Okay? Continue to read up on Devarim chapter number 16 and Vayikra chapter number 23 on Pesach and Feast of Matzah. One of the things that you can do to prepare is get all the leaven out of your house. Okay? Go get you some unleavened bread. Manischewitz is a good one to get, but they make them in all kinds of flavors and so on. Start stocking up. Trust me, none of these other religions are doing it during the same time that you are, so they'll have plenty at the store. Okay? So let me bless you. Yivarekaka Yahweh, Vishmareka, Yair Panav Eleka Vihuneka, Yisa Yahweh Panav Eleka Viyasam Laka Shalom. Which simply means, may Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine on you and show you his favor. May Yahweh lift up his face towards you and give you shalom. Thank you. And I yield the floor. Did you want to say anything? Because I was going to yield the floor to you. I was going to yield the floor to you for anything that you want to say on Pesach. Okay. So, what we probably should do on Pesach is on the 29th. The evening starts around 7 o'clock, 7:15. That's when it gets dark. So we probably should meet maybe like 6:30 or something here. Now, I'm pretty sure that Gail and Rabbi will probably say something about what we're going to do for food at the particular time, but just clear your schedules so you can be here on the 29th for Pesach. Now, prior to that, make sure that you get all of the leaven out of your house. Get rid of it. That's one of the things that we can practice because that's one of the things in the mitzvah for the lamb. All right? And outside of that, we'll meet here on the 29th, which is that Friday, and then come back for the Shabbat to start the Feast of Matzah together. Okay? So, I'm going to yield the floor to our honorable teacher for some additional instructions.
Huh?